Guys, we're off to a great start here at Bullock in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Check this out. So I printed off this like 300-page binder full of all the different documents I need, right? I labeled them, felt ready to go. I had a million copies of everything. Well, one of the things that I needed, which was a DA-71, also known as an oath of office, I printed off my one from commissioning as a cadet to second lieutenant, and not my one on active duty. So I'm scrambling to get that done, but in the meantime, I might as well knock out a video, right? Whatever, what do you do? What is up, everybody? Welcome to Trades, where we give technical analysis on different stocks in the stock market, as well as potential buy, hold, or sell opinions on these given stocks. I like to preface by saying that I'm not a financial advisor nor expert, so take what I say with a grain of salt. The reason that I started this channel is because a couple years back I was about $30,000 deep in some medical debt, and I was very fortunate to have some close family, friends, and mentors that pushed me to work hard and invest my money, and I'm happy to say that not only am I now financially free, but I'm doing pretty well for myself at the age of 23. So if I can pass along any of the information, resources, or tools that are given to me here to the community, make a couple people better off than they were before, that's all that I can ask for. Last, if you would not mind dropping a like on the video, it really does help support the channel, and consider subscribing if you'd like to see more content like this. Now today, we're going to be giving an analysis on ticker symbol BB, Blackberry LTD, and this is actually a stock that I covered here in the past. It was probably about a month and some change ago, maybe a month and a week or so, and I said, I could see this stock doing something pretty crazy, and typically I like to beat the hype on plays like this before they do the crazy run-ups, and we really beat the hype talking about this a month ahead of time. So if you'd gotten in way back in the day, you'd be sitting pretty well right now. But I do think there is still potential in this stock, which is why I want to present it to you and show you some ways to play this out so that you're not caught chasing, not caught holding the bag, and can turn a nice profit on BlackBerry. So we're gonna look at this on both the 1 month chart as well as the 2-day 1 minute chart to give you both a macroscopic and microscopic perspective. I've got 3 different indicators pulled up, which are the RSI, the relative strength index. Anything over 70 is overbought, anything under 30 is oversold. I have the 200 EMA, which is the exponential moving average, and this is just a price action based valuation trend line over a 200-day moving period. And then the 15-day VAMA, which is the volume adjusted moving average, and this is another valuation based price action trend line over a 15-day moving period, adjusted accordingly to the overall volume going into a stock. So we'll talk about what these all mean, level off some levels of support and resistance, talk about some potential entry points, how you can play this off as either a swing trade, a midterm, a long-term investment, the whole 9 yards. So we've got a lot to talk about. Buckle in, and we'll just get right into the video. First, I'd like to give a quick shout out to the guys over the Patreon. We are almost 600 members strong, which is absolutely insane. I can't believe, I think just over 3 weeks ago, maybe, I was supposed to coming up closer to a month, we had like 10 members in this Discord. So it's been absolutely insane watching the growth. I really do appreciate it. They'll have access to the private Discord as well as real-time insight to my personal trading. We've got a lot of good stuff in here. We've got chat and questions, investing assistance, options trading, stock bot, which I will actually talk about here in a minute. Short-term plays, mid-term plays, long-term plays, SPAC plays, cult stocks, a whole bunch of industries and sectors. So if you're interested in joining, you can find the link to the Patreon in the description box down below. There's a lot of really good people in here, guys. Some people make really good money. We have 6% in 1 day. Past week, 24%. I think we had a guy in, yeah, there it is, 85% in the past month. So if you'd like to join this awesome Discord, like I said, check out the link in the description box down below. Now, if you're not familiar with what BlackBerry is, we'll just read you off a quick little description. They engage in the provision of security software and services to enterprises and governments. It offers cybersecurity consulting, enterprise consulting, endpoint management, and unified endpoint security. The company is founded by Michael Lazaridis, James Lawrence Basili, and Douglas E. Fregren on March 7th, 1984, and is headquartered in Waterloo, Canada. Man, every time I talk down here in Oklahoma, everyone's like, you must be from North Dakota or Minnesota or Canada or something like that. And I'm like, oh, whatever you say. And then I do have a news article pulled up from Benzinga, which I will read to you, the first paragraph. It says, BlackBerry shares pop another 16.5% on expanded partnership with Baidu. What you need to know. We'll just read this real quick. BlackBerry announced late Monday it has expanded its partnership with Chinese tech giant Baidu Incorporated on self-driving technology. The shares surged 16.5% in the pre-market session on Tuesday. Under the expanded partnership, Baidu's high-definition map will be integrated with BlackBerry's QNX Neutrino real-time operating system. The integrated system will be mass-produced and be available on Guangzhou Automobile Group Co. Ltd's electric vehicle arm's upcoming GAC New Energy Ion models. And this could be, there's a lot of money tied to something like this. So there's a lot of people trying to get into the self-driving, the autonomous vehicle scene. And if BlackBerry gets into that and is successful, there's a lot of money tied into that scene. So if we just look at like NIO, for example, or, I mean, I'm not going to compare it to Tesla, but NIO's currently trading at $59, XPEV currently trading at $54. If BlackBerry can get into this game, I mean, if we look at their all-time highs here, they have gone all the way up to $144. Now, am I saying they're going to touch $144? You know, that does seem a little unrealistic in the short term, right? But in the long term, it definitely could be possible to retest some of these previous highs. I definitely think in the 60s and the 70s is very realistic to see a touch point on again. And one thing that I want to point out to you guys is a crucial level that we are going to want to watch for, and that is going to be right about here, and that is $39. And why is this important? Well, this is a huge long-term level of resistance, and if you push through $39, you know, we do have one more small, well, I suppose I'll push it up a little bit just to get one more touch point. $40. We'll call it $40.32. And if we push through this level of resistance, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different candle wicks touching right here, where if we push through that, the price action above that is likely to be pretty violent because this is a very strong level of resistance, right? We've got a lot of different touch points here dating back a very long time. And while you might be thinking, is it really possible for this stock to double up again? To that, I would tell you, look at this 1 month chart, and we have doubled up we've actually nearly tripled up in the last week. So I do think that's completely possible. Now, I don't want you guys to chase this stock per se. I don't think you should buy in near, you know, the 1 month highs or anything by that means. But we are going to talk about some potential entry points, what you could be looking at to get into BlackBerry so that you're not caught chasing, not caught holding the bag, and can turn a grand slam hit on this and double up your profits for something absolutely filthy. So if we look at the overall volume, actually there is one other thing I want to show you guys before we get going on this video, and that is going to be the overall short volume on BlackBerry. So if we just pull up short BlackBerry, it should show us the overall percentage, which is 7.13% of the total shares being traded are short shares. Now, if we come and look at institutions, I suppose I'll just do statistics. Statistics, BB, institutional own. This tells us how many institutions own this company, and 56.6% of the total shares held on BlackBerry are institutional ownership. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. And you were actually looking for this because that typically means that institutionals are big money guys, don't want to get into a stock if there's risk involved, if they don't think they can turn a profit. And for over half of the shares being traded on this to be institutional ownership says a lot about how much they believe in this company. If we look at the overall change, right? 3 months, 252%. 1 month, 155%. 5 days, 83%. This thing is on the move, guys. It looks really, really good. And insider ownership is 11%. So nearly 70%, this comes out to 67% of the stock owned is by big company names. And this is a huge, huge green flag saying, hey, I shouldn't feel too bad getting into BlackBerry. Everybody else, all the big money guys are in BlackBerry. The guys not like you and me, right? People trading with millions of dollars or even tens of millions of dollars are in BlackBerry. So that acts as a confirmation to me and a little bit of reassurance that, you know, it's not the end of the world to get into the stock if you're willing to hold for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You can even swing trade this. There's opportunities there for that. And we're going to run through all that here. So first off, what I want to do is drop a retracement. And this gives us an idea of from the base of the run-up, what we're looking at to the peak of this run-up. And we do have a very nice retracement to this 38.2% mark at 1664 as of yesterday. And this is a very nice retracement. That indicates a lot of strong buying pressure and buying presence. And we did see a little bit of a sell-off here, right? I do think some of this is probably shorts, betting against the stock per se, trading against the grain, and they could have turned a profit for sure if they sold their position at 19.55, covered back at $17. You turned a profit on this, right? And this opens an opportunity for us if we see something like this pop up again. I don't currently have a position in BlackBerry, to be completely transparent. These are my current positions in all companies. I do very strongly believe in AMC, but I do have some dry powder that I am willing to put into BlackBerry, and I do feel very good about its potential. So I am going to be planning on getting into this position. I do have a couple different stocks on my radar, but I'm going to be getting into the one with the best possible entry point when it presents itself to me, and BlackBerry is on my radar. So what are we looking at? Well, we do have quite a few different touch points here. 1, 2, 3 at this retracement of $18.80. Now, is that the best case scenario? Maybe not. I think the best case scenario, or the most likely scenario, this is the best case scenario. Most likely scenario is you see a pullback to $20.26. And if you see a dip below this down to $18.80, that is a much better entry point. I think the risk at that point is extremely lower. So keep that in the back of your mind. Overall volume is very decent. We've been seeing a steady climb. And one other thing I want to show you guys is how popular this is. So if we come over here to StockBot, type in pop, this will show us the 10 most talked about stocks on all discords in the last hour. And BB is number 1. It's popping up in 26 different discords out of 13,528. So that does show to me that there's a lot of interest in BlackBerry as well as AMC. How about that? We do have a position in AMC, so that is great to see. But BlackBerry is number 1 on the list. So we know right off the bat that there's people thinking about this. There's people talking about this. There are people who want to get in on this. And if you are able to get this at a good price, I think you're going to be able to turn a nice profit on BlackBerry. So watch for an entry point. We do have a level of support at $20.27. But I like this retracement at $18.80 even better. So if you can catch it slipping under $20.27, I don't think it's as likely. But if you do see it happen, I'm going to personally be scooping that up. And I will be holding a position as a midterm investment. And I'm going to be looking for an overall price target if we come back to this all-time, right, of $40.32. This is an opportunity to double up your money. And it's got a lot of momentum. If we look at the overall volume, that should really stand out to you. We almost traded 1 billion shares. We actually did. We traded 1.1 billion shares yesterday. This is picking up steam every single day. And I think that if you are able to double up your money on this and it keeps going, well, then keep riding it, right? We ride stocks until you see a hard trend reversal. And I don't mean something like this, right? That's not much of a trend reversal. The 15 VAMA is still gapped up over the 200 EMA. We've been gapping up every single day. We just had a little bit of profit taking, right? And if you want to swing trade this, that's totally fine. That's not the end of the world to take some profit. But if you want to midterm hold this, which is another opportunity, you are looking at that as a buying opportunity or a chance to improve your position in the stock. And I don't think you're going to do too bad if you get into this in that $20 range. In fact, I think people are just now finally starting to wake up to this as of yesterday. So I could very easily see this touching $39, $40 here in the future. This is more expensive than some other penny stocks that I talk about. I know that probably doesn't appeal to some people, but there's less risk involved with BlackBerry in the sense that it's not a penny stock, right? So it's not going to be quite as volatile. If this thing drops $2 compared to a penny stock going from $6 to $4, this goes from 21 to 19. You're looking at a much lower risk of loss, right? So if this drops and you get in at, let's say, 1880, worst case scenario, you see this come down all the way down to 1664. Well, what are you losing? Maybe 15%, 10% compared to 30%, 40% in the penny stock. So a lot less risk involved here. And I like to present you guys plays that I think are going to do well, regardless of the overall reward, how long it'll take, etc. So the volumes there, our side does not seem to be correcting too harshly in the last couple days. We've come down to 42. Low point here is 36. Yesterday we came down to 46, which is honestly just a little bit below neutral. So that does look good as well. And you are going to want to try to buy into this as close to 50 or under, preferably this low 40 or high 30 range on the RSI indicator as you can, because that is going to present the least amount of risk to you and should allow you to make the most amount of money. So be watching for that. Please don't FOMO this stock. I promise you, you're pretty likely to see an opportunity to get into this. We did trade sideways for a couple of days there before we saw a nice run up like this, right? So in all reality, all of this growth happened pretty much in like 24 hours. We did see a nice jump from 746 to 1195, and then in 1195 to 1288. But 1288, you know, it was just one day, boom, all of a sudden we're up to 20 bucks. So it's a little bit quick. I think we're going to see a little bit of price correction, maybe not. We may just keep running, but you know, if you want to get into this while it's running, there's an opportunity here. You're going to watch for a push over $22.29. And if you see this push over $22.29, you'll see a nice big wide range candle bar. What do I mean by that? Well, look at this. When we push through this level of resistance right here, what did you see? You saw a big wide range candle bar. It pushes through, and what I mean by wide range is it's a long, very powerful green filled candle. The body of the candle is very full and long, and that typically indicates a lot of buying pressure. So you don't want to see something like this, right, where we kind of tip our toes into this level of resistance, because you're more likely to see a rejection, as we did here. If you see a long body cross over that resistance line, you're more likely to see it continue running, and at that point you can think of that as the next level of support, and getting in then will not be the end of the world. So if you see this wide range candle bar push over that $22 range, I would feel more comfortable with you getting in, but just keep in mind you're more likely to see success there as a swing trade, or just being careful and having a stop loss set if you're worried about the short-term losses. So we'll change over to the 2-day 1-minute chart, look for some extra confirmations really quick. And what I'm seeing right now here in the pre-market, we are starting to gap up. We do have a little bit of a double top here, but it is an ascending double top, so we are in an upward moving channel overall. If we connect a trend line to the bottom of this to where we are right now, we are currently moving in an upward direction, so that is a good thing to see. And honestly, if we lower this to get all these touch points, right, 1 2 3 4 different touch points, that's a pretty strong moving channel. So I do like that a lot. You're going to be looking for a bounce off of this trend line, and that will indicate to us that that the stock should continue moving upwards. And at that point, the more likely realistic situation is you're buying in at $22. Of course, it is possible we see some profit taking similar to what we saw at market open. So this isn't a stock I think you need to necessarily get in the pre-market. I think you can have some success if you wait for market open. Get in on a little bit of a sell-off. I don't think you're going to go wrong whatsoever that way. So that is how we look right now. Overall buying or selling pressure, we do have some. It's pretty neutral. We're gonna zoom in here and look at the candles just for anything that I can see, and we do have a couple of bottoming tails, but for the most part these are pretty solid neutral candles. You got some short wicks on the tops and bottoms, but that doesn't indicate strong buying or selling pressure. If anything, I see a little bit of buying pressure. You know, a pretty good wick here, otherwise it's pretty neutral. I mean, we are going green. This is trading green. But what I like to see the most is that I think yesterday was actually red, right? We opened at 1955, closed at $18, and even though this was red, right, there's not a lot of selling pressure here. Buyers kept stepping the price back up, tried pushing it, and then immediately here in the after hours we see it push back up to these previous levels, and then in the pre-market it's moving. So there's obvious to me there's a lot of buying pressure. There's a lot of people talking about this. There's high demand. It's very, very pumped. I think there's a good opportunity here to make some money. So that is what I have for the video today. If you guys enjoyed it, please drop a like. It really does help support the channel, and consider subscribing if you'd like to see more content like this. And lastly, I do have an affiliate link in the description box down below for TubeBuddy. Now, TubeBuddy is an SEO optimization website that I personally pay a $9 per month membership for, and it's highly what I attribute growing from 0 to almost 13,000 subscribers in just over a month. So if you're a content creator or looking to become one, it is a great tool to help get your videos into the eyes of your intended audience. And if you do use my link, I'll receive a commission off of your purchase at no extra cost to you. So it's a great way to support the channel, and if you're not interested, that's totally fine. I just appreciate your support by taking the time to watch my videos. So that is what I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching, my friends, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.